They vanished out of your life like a ghost in reverse. One moment, they were everything, undeniable, electric. The next, silence, absence, a void that logic can't fill. But then, something starts to shift. You see their name, a song, a dream that feels too real. And you wonder, was that ever really over? Or was it just the universe hitting pause? Welcome to Forbidden Texts, where we explore ancient knowledge and forgotten wisdom. Twin flames. The phrase has been thrown around, romanticized, diluted. But this isn't some cutesy soulmates for eternity fantasy. This is cosmic architecture. It's violent, sacred, raw. The concept predates pop spirituality. It's carved into Sufi poetry, Gnostic texts, and Eastern metaphysics. A soul split in two, divided across dimensions, time, and flesh. You don't meet your twin flame by accident. You collide. It's not pretty. It's never soft. It feels like the world bending around two gravitational forces finally within range of each other. The connection is immediate, but the purpose, that's deeper. It's about collapse before transformation, recognition before surrender. And here's what they don't tell you: twin flames separate by design. They must, because the intensity is unbearable when you're not ready. The union is sacred, but the path is brutal. One is the runner, the other, the chaser. Roles may flip, but the game, it's set by something older than either of you. That first encounter awakens everything. Trauma, ego, love, light. You're not meeting a partner. You're meeting yourself in their eyes and everything you've been avoiding. That's why it feels like coming home and getting hit by a truck at the same time. The ancient Greeks believed we were once whole beings, split in half by the gods for our arrogance. Ever since, we've been wandering, aching for our other part. Twin flames aren't a reward. They're a mirror, and a mirror doesn't lie. So if it hurt, if it ended, if you're still haunted, good. That means it was real. And if you're wondering whether they'll return, you already know the answer. The path has already been written. They're not gone. They're orbiting. And the signs, they've already started. You start seeing things. Not hallucinations, patterns. Their birth date on a license plate. A city they once mentioned suddenly everywhere. The song that played the night you met, it's back, in a random playlist you didn't choose. You laugh it off. Coincidence. But then it keeps happening. Numbers repeating. Their name in a stranger's conversation. You wake up from a dream that felt more like a visitation than sleep. You start to wonder, are you going crazy, or is the universe trying to get your attention? This is synchronicity. Not chance. Not luck. It's intelligence. Cosmic breadcrumbs left for two people walking away from each other, so they'll know how to find their way back. Carl Jung called it meaningful coincidence. The mystics called it divine timing. But here's the truth most people don't want to face. It only starts when you begin to forget. When you try to move on. The universe doesn't shout. It whispers. Through dreams that rattle you. Through gut feelings that don't make sense but feel right. Through interruptions in the simulation that remind you, this story isn't over. And they feel it too. Even if they're silent. Even if they're with someone else. The pull doesn't leave. The messages hit them in their own way. Maybe it's a song, a scent, a street they haven't walked down in years. Something tugs. the same something tugging at you. People forget. This connection is mirrored. What hits you, hits them. What you process, they start to face. The further apart you get physically, the more the universe steps in, because proximity doesn't define the bond. You're not imagining it. You're remembering. They'll come back when you least expect it, but right on time. Not on your time. Not when you're begging the universe for closure or stalking old messages at 2 a.m. They return when you've stopped looking for them in everyone else. When you've shed the illusion that love has to look a certain way or arrive neatly wrapped in certainty. That's when it starts. That's when the current shifts. But before the physical return, there's always a storm. An energetic build up. Sudden emotions out of nowhere. Anxiety that isn't yours. A craving you can't place. Your soul remembers before your mind can make sense of it. That's how it happens. The universe primes you before you reconnect. It tests your alignment. It's not enough to want them back. You have to be ready to receive them without attachment, without agenda. And here's the paradox. The reunion doesn't come when you're still the person who first met them. That version of you had to be shattered, for a reason. You don't reunite in chaos. You reunite after the inner apocalypse, after you've been burned clean. So when they reappear, whether it's a message, a dream that feels like a conversation, or bumping into them on a day you almost stayed home, it's not by accident. It's never by accident. The universe doesn't waste moments on coincidence when it comes to twin flames. That's divine orchestration. You may hesitate, doubt it, think, why now? But deep down, your soul has been expecting it. And so has theirs. Because every step apart was scripted just as much as the return. The distance was the lesson. The silence was the teacher. The timing, sacred. And still, that's not the end. The reunion is not the reward. It's the beginning of the real work. The kind of work that makes you question everything you thought love was supposed to be. But for now, you're just feeling it. The ripple. The foreshadowing. The signal that what was never truly over is about to begin again. You can feel it, can't you? You start to question reality itself. Time bends. Days blur. You swear you smell them on someone else's clothes. You hear their laugh in a place they couldn't possibly be. Logic tells you to let go. But your intuition, it's screaming. You're not crazy. You're connected. This is the phase most people ignore because it doesn't come with fireworks. It comes with friction. Premonitions you can't explain. A sudden urge to clean your life out. Purge the old. Shift direction. Your taste changes. Your boundaries strengthen. You start becoming the person you were always meant to be. Why? Because the soul knows what's coming. It starts preparing before your conscious mind catches up. Dreams become messages. You wake up mid-sentence, remembering conversations with them that never happened, but felt real. You go to text them but stop. Not out of fear, out of knowing. The connection isn't maintained by action. It's maintained by alignment. This is the test. The universe asking, will you collapse again at the sight of them, or will you rise? See, return doesn't guarantee reunion. That's the hard truth. Some twin flames come back too early. Before the ego is burned away. Before the inner wounds are dealt with. That's when the cycle repeats. More running, more chasing, more chaos. So the universe will throw curveballs. They may reach out and then vanish again. You'll be tempted to fall into old patterns. But this time, the lesson is clear. Don't repeat. Evolve. This isn't a love story. It's a soul story. That means your healing has to match the frequency of your desire. You don't attract the twin flame. You become the version of yourself that calls in the real reunion, not the fantasy. So if they come back and it's not time, you'll know. You'll feel it in your nervous system, in your gut, in the silence between texts. That's not failure. That's recalibration. Because the reunion isn't just about being together. It's about being whole. And the moment you get there, the moment your frequency matches your truth, that's when destiny stops knocking and walks through the door. Suddenly, everything makes sense. Not in your mind, your body. There's a stillness, a certainty, like standing in the eye of a storm and realizing it was always about the center, never the chaos. You've stopped searching. Stop begging the universe for signs. Not because you gave up, because you finally remembered. This isn't about chasing a person. It's about becoming the version of yourself that doesn't need to chase. And when you arrive there, that's when the energy shifts radically. Because now, you're not just resonating with them. You're calling them in, whether you realize it or not. The signal you've been sending through every healed wound, every boundary honored, every piece of self reclaimed, it's being received. And on their end, something clicks. Maybe slowly, maybe all at once. But it clicks. That ache they buried, it's back. That inner voice they've ignored, louder. The distractions stop working. The noise goes silent. And there's only one thing echoing: you. They feel the magnetic pull, the invisible gravity, and they follow it. Not out of obsession, out of knowing. Because whatever they tried to replace you with, it didn't stick. Because it wasn't a soul connection. It was noise. And when they return, really return, you'll recognize the difference. No grand entrance, no dramatic apology. Just presence. Just energy that says, I've seen myself now. I see you. It won't look like a movie. It won't even feel like the first time. Because it's not. This isn't a reunion. It's a remembering of everything you both always were, before fear, before ego, before the fall. And it doesn't matter how long it's been. Days, years, lifetimes. The truth doesn't expire. Real doesn't fade. It just waits. Patiently. Quietly. Until both souls stop running and start listening. This is that moment. And yet, this is only the beginning. Because when they come back, it's not to complete you. It's to reflect you. The version of yourself you fought to become. The healed. The aware. The grounded. Now the work begins. Not the fantasy. Not the escape. The real union. The one the universe protected, not denied. See, most people think the return is the reward. It's not. It's the responsibility. Because what's coming isn't just love, it's purpose. When twin flames reunite for real, the energy doesn't just heal them. It ripples. It disturbs everything false in its path. Relationships, careers, belief systems. Your entire identity can start to crumble again. But this time, you're ready. Now you're not building from attachment. You're building from truth. You're not addicted to their presence. You're aligned with their soul. You're not afraid they'll leave. You trust the bond beyond space, time, and logic. Because you remember. You feel. And so do they. Everything that once felt chaotic now feels precise. Every loss, every breakdown, every silent night, It was all scaffolding, holding the structure of this return, waiting for both of you to become what the connection always demanded. Oh. And now, you meet again. Not as halves searching, but as mirrors, finally clear enough to reflect something sacred. People around you may not understand it. They'll see the reunion and only catch the surface. But what you two see, it's lifetimes deep. It's written between timelines. It's coded in the chaos that once broke you. And still, the universe isn't done. The signs never stop. The synchronicities keep pulsing. Not to lead you to each other anymore, but to lead you together towards something even greater. Because twin flames don't just come back to love. They come back to awaken. And what's next? That's the part they never tell you. But if you've made it this far, you're ready to find out. You look at them now, and it's different. The desperation is gone. The fear, the grasping, the silent panic that used to hide behind your smile, gone. There's no pretending this time. No masks. Just presence. Just two people who've died and been reborn in the space between their last goodbye and this exact moment. And it hits you. This was never about romance. It was initiation. The universe split you to strip you, to tear away the illusions, the stories, the dependencies you mistook for love. It used distance as a scalpel, silence as a teacher. And now that you've both surrendered, now that you've both said yes to your path, not just each other, now the connection activates on a new level. This is when the mission begins. The twin flame journey was never just about reunion. It was about remembering what you came here to do. Together, you become a frequency, a signal. You disrupt patterns just by existing. People feel your energy and can't explain it, but it shifts them, heals them, challenges them. Because awakened twin flames are mirrors for the collective, and most of the world isn't ready to look that deeply. But that's the point. The return isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of your service. The energy between you becomes a force. It clears rooms. It cracks people open. And it demands truth. Not everyone will stay in your life once this begins. Not everyone can handle the vibration. But you didn't come here to be understood. You came here to remember and to remind. The signs won't stop. The synchronicities will only deepen. But now, they're no longer leading you to each other. They're confirming what you've already become. This new chapter, it's not about chasing union. It's about anchoring it. So when people ask why they came back, why the one person you couldn't forget suddenly reappeared after all that time, all that pain, all that silence, you'll know. Because destiny doesn't knock twice. And real love doesn't leave. It returns when you're finally ready to receive it. Now you understand. This wasn't a cycle. It was a spiral. You didn't come back to the same point. You ascended. The pain wasn't wasted. The silence wasn't cruel. Every detour was divine. Every missed call, every unspoken word, every sleepless night, part of the recalibration. You feel it in your body now, a peace you didn't think was possible. Not the numb kind that comes from giving up, but the kind born from inner clarity, from truth, the kind of peace that doesn't depend on someone staying, because, they're not here by accident. They're here because the work is done. The contract has been fulfilled. You've both passed the initiation. There's no more proving, no more convincing, no more spiritual bargaining. You're not holding on out of fear they'll slip away again. You're holding space because the connection is no longer fragile. It's anchored, grounded, real. And it's here that everything starts to shift around you. People start exiting your life, not dramatically, but cleanly. Doors closed that once refused to budge. New opportunities rise from nowhere. Your intuition sharpens. Your vision clears. Not just about them, about everything. This is the ripple effect of alignment. It doesn't just transform your relationship. It rewrites your entire field. Because now, the two of you are not just in union. You are a vortex, a bridge, a spark for everyone still wandering, still searching, still stuck in the illusion that love is something to find, instead of something to become. You become the proof, the living example that yes, love can return. That yes, what's meant for you will find its way back, not when you're waiting, but when you're becoming. And this is where the journey turns from personal to planetary. Because your union isn't about romance. It's about resonance. It's a beacon that says, healing is possible. Wholeness is real. And yes, destiny always keeps its promise. You're not just back together. You're home. And maybe now you finally see it, why it had to fall apart. Why it had to hurt that deeply. Why the silence lasted so long you almost convinced yourself it was over. It wasn't punishment. It was preparation. The universe wasn't taking them from you. It was taking you back to yourself. Because nothing real can be lost. Not at the soul level. Not when it's twin flames. This isn't a connection built on convenience or comfort. It's built on cosmic design. And that design doesn't fold under time, distance, or even death. That's why the signs never stop. That's why your dreams kept whispering their name long after your ego let them go. That's why their energy still showed up in rooms they never walked into. Because on some level, some layer deeper than thought, they never really left. You don't have to explain that to anyone. The connection explains itself. You feel it before they speak. You know it before they move. Their presence is familiar because it's yours. You were never waiting for them. You were remembering you. And they were doing the same. All those moments they didn't respond. All the months or years they seemed lost in someone else's world. They weren't gone. They were being broken down too. Rewired. Refined. So that when the two of you met again, it wasn't as damaged reflections of your past, but as the refined truth of your soul. Now you move differently. You speak less, but everything you say carries weight. You touch differently. Not to possess, but to remind. This love isn't fragile. It's forged. And that's why it returns. Because it's indestructible. You've both been dismantled, rebuilt, aligned. And what returns now isn't what left. It's what was always meant to be. So when they look at you and you see that spark, that recognition that was never lost, just buried, you won't need words. You'll just know. Because destiny always comes back. And this time, it stays. You won't announce it to the world. You won't need to. Something this sacred doesn't need validation. It radiates. The energy between you shifts rooms, softens sharp people, silences noise. You become a frequency others don't understand, but feel. And in that presence, people begin to question what they once settled for. Because now, you carry something different. Both of you. Not just love, but clarity. Not just reunion, but revelation. This is what happens when destiny is fulfilled. You stop chasing meaning outside yourself. You stop needing the world to tell you what's real. You've lived it. You've lost it. You've become it. And now, the two of you don't just move forward. You move as one. Not co-dependent. Not unfinished, but interwoven. Separate flames, same fire. This is the level where peace isn't just the absence of pain. It's the presence of alignment. Where love doesn't cost you your identity, it reveals it. And the synchronicities that once haunted you like puzzles to solve, they shift. Now they're confirmations. Quiet nods from the universe. Yes, this is it. You made it. And maybe you realize it was never really about them coming back. It was about what was becoming inside you the entire time they were gone. You see now that the return was inevitable, not because you held on, but because you let go. You surrendered to timing. You trusted the unseen. And now, you live in the space beyond longing. You live in fulfillment. So if someone asks what happened, how they came back, why it worked out after all that distance, all that pain, you'll smile. Not with arrogance, with knowing. Because the answer isn't something you say. It's something you are. And for those still waiting, still watching the signs, still waking up with that ache in their chest, they'll feel it when you speak. That it's possible. That it's real. That some love stories don't fade, they realign. Because twin flames don't find their way back through force. They return through transformation. And when that happens, when the soul is ready, the heart is quiet, and the timing is perfect, there's only one thing left. They remember. And this time, they don't leave.